her, and she's adorable. She's adorable. So yeah.
You guys shot 56% from three tonight. I'm wondering if your team is a 3-point shooting team.
Please stop. We shot 47% from the field. We're fourth in the league in field goal percentage. I'm just we shot it well. That's cool. That's cool. You knew that was going to get me.
Had to. But that 18-point lead you guys had late in the third, what do you attribute the breakdown to that allowed them to get back into the game?
I think the zone kind of um, uh, made it slowed our rhythm down. But it wasn't really the zone. It was the fact that we weren't getting stops that let them set up. And so we stopped getting stops. We went through like this phase where we couldn't get really clean stops because I don't know why. I have to look at the tape, but it allowed them to set up and get into their zone. And the ball was a little stagnant. But, you know, Atlanta's a feisty team, and we put them to the line too in the second half, and that wasn't great. And we we were a little too schematic. I thought our schemes were great, but at one point they just started playing us one-on-one, and I think we got bored with standing in front of the ball. And so when you do that against a team that's just playing without any care or any freedom, and with all the freedom, they're just gonna just keep on driving downhill. And we had a couple of calls that that put them to the line, and it was just tough. Yeah.
Coach Julie finished with 5 assists tonight, and I'm just curious, without even looking at the tape, what stood out to you about like how she was able to facilitate and run the offense tonight?
She's a point guard, so that's what we expect from her. And she played well. Just getting the ball downhill. I wish I could have got her more minutes. So maybe against our old team, we'll see what we can do.
I feel like Ka has really come into her own, especially the last couple of games where she's just looks a lot more like herself since coming back from overseas. What has stood out to you about her play over the last couple of games, and like, is this just what we should expect from her moving forward?
No expectations. We just want Ka to be herself, and each game brings a different challenge. But I like the aggressiveness that we saw. I like the defensive tenacity that we saw, and we just have to, keep on building on, her being that leader that she is for us. And but this is a game that she just came in and focused and just did her thing.
Going on, Coach?
What's
Steven
up, man?
Gardner from Nelson Bowl Sports.
So, Steve.
So, Azure Stevens stepped in for Candace Parker in the starting lineup today. She
Mhm.
finished with 3 made threes, and she had 3 blocks. Talk about just how unique it is to have such a front court trio, or front court, however you want to phrase it. They can just get so much done, even with Ruthie and Lee off the bench stepping in place to just make things happen.
I thought I thought, just having that type of player, she's a unicorn for us. And, she was a starter for us last year. And, but she's a great teammate, great person, great talent. And for her to just step in and just pick up, where she left off it's been a amazing ride for her, because that 3 that she made kind of signified like what she is for us. She's a clutch player, and doesn't matter if she starts or come off the bench. We just need her to make big plays, and she does that more often than not.
And then Allie Quigley tonight had 3 made threes. You talked about earlier in the season how you were just pretty much just telling her to just don't let go of the rope and just continue to take the next shot. And she has multiple made threes, I believe, in 4 of the last 5 games. So talk about the dynamic that her off-ball movement and just gravity as a shooter has for the offense.
I think, the big thing for her is she needs her rhythm, and she didn't have it early because she sat out. she sat out in the beginning of so she didn't really have a complete training camp. And it's going to take her time, but shooting is like riding a bike. If you're that great of a shooter, and it's funny because you hear people say she's the best shooter that's ever lived, and then in the same sentence they'll say, what's wrong with Allie? Just give her time. Just give her time. Shooters need rhythm. And she's playing with a new team with new players that need to find who she is and where she's going to be on the floor. So that's why I don't really look into if we're a good 3-point shooting team or not. I'm just looking.
Hey, Coach. So Emma tonight, 17 points, 12 rebounds. There's been a lot of talk recently of just how much she has been coming into her own, and especially as she's been scoring pretty well, been very effective across the board. What would you say about her contributions thus far?
Emma is Emma. She's a good player. And I think she fills a lot of holes for us. She give us another featured post player. So it's difficult for us to play without Candace. We know that. But she helps. She helps when we don't play with her, and just like Z does. But Emma is, she's just a special player as far as playing the way our style. Like we can get somebody in here and they're a great talent, but sometimes they don't fit the way you play, and you have to adjust for them. Emma, we haven't really had to adjust. She's actually fit very well into our style of play with an open floor, with post players making decisions, and post players that find cutters or open shooters on the weak side. So she it's been like an effortless thing. I mean, I think the first couple of games it was maybe tough for her to find her spots, but now it's like second nature. And I don't know if the first 3 games of the year, if Emma would have led us in shots taken, and tonight she did, which, now watching that now, I'm like, okay, way to go, Emma.
And then about Rebecca, obviously when she comes into the game, the dynamic changes and she makes tremendous contributions. What do you say about her performance tonight?
She wasn't bad. Yeah, she's not a bad player. I think she can play in the WNBA. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say, man. Like, we're gonna answer these questions about Rebecca, and at some point, I get it. Like, I get it. It's such a shock and such a surprise. Somebody who hasn't had like a chance to play in the league for 10 years, and all of a sudden they come into the league and they're a starter level player, and it's like a shock. Like, where you been? Y'all watch Stranger Things? She was probably in the portal on the other side of the earth somewhere, just hanging out for the last 10 years. And now she's on this side of this portal and she's here. So she's 11.
James, you didn't have Candace tonight, but what did you learn about your team without Candace being there?
That we miss Candace. No, it's we stepped up. It's next person up, and we just do the best we can without her. But she's so much of what we do that it's hard to just pick up and go without her. So I'm a little patient with us, and knowing that we were playing without one of our main key players, and we got off to a good start. Now it's about having that maturity to kind of just keep it going. The second time we did that against that team, and it makes the games interesting, but it doesn't make life easier. So we'll figure it out. We have a little time. We have a little time to figure it out, but we have to be able to finish teams off when we have those big leads, and that's a big concern for my part, and I know Candace will help that.
Coach, what did you just think? We talk about Stevens's offensive contribution, but defensively, she shined, especially with that shot block, sending it into overtime. What have you just seen out of her defensive tenacity over the past few games?
Yeah, she was big for us. That shot block and the shot block on Cheyenne to get the ball out of bounds too is, it's her length is she can affect the game in so many ways, and she probably could have had like 2 more blocks. She can. And I think that's the thing when we're talking to these players, they're so like multifaceted, and I don't want her offensive game and the same thing with Emma to take away from the defensive potential that they have. And she saved the block shot was just as important as the made 3, and that's what I recognize, and I think her teammates recognize, and that's who we need her to be. So impressed with it. She had the most deflections tonight, and we gave her credit for that, and that's where the games are won and lost.
Early on in the game, they gave you a technical foul, but I mean, it seemed like it was sizable different. I didn't see. Did you understand?
You see what I did? So I do this 10 times a game. I do it 10. I'm writing to they didn't do it in a bad way. She assumed, but I talked to her. She was like, we'll take it back but I ball up the paper. One of us did a bad foul, and I ball up a paper and I throw it there all the time. So I throw the paper over like on the garbage, and she thought that I threw it like I was upset, but no, I wasn't. I mean, I was upset that we foul bad, but it wasn't anything against the refs. I mean, they made a great call, you know. So I gotta pay. Like they're taking money away from my son, and I'm like, yeah. I'll appeal it, but hopefully, man, y'all help me out. If anybody got the video, just show it on social. I just threw the paper. I do that all the time. Hey, and Tanisha, she balled up the paper, and I was just watching to see if she was going to throw it, and I was going to scream technical, give her a technical. She balled up a paper. Y'all can probably find it on video too, and I was just waiting to see if she was going to throw it. I was going to scream technical so hard, like, man, golly. Thanks, guys. I'm finna go spend some time with Cheyenne's little girl if I can. If she ain't left, if she ain't slept.
had threw another big time assignment tonight against Ryan,
Mhm.
and he slowed her down as much as anyone can. I mean, what were you seeing from her tonight? Where you know, when you're able to or what's her mindset going up against someone like that?
Well, she's a very talented, great player. So, just against any other great player, I feel like we just try to make it tough for her. Like, of course, she's gonna score, but our job is to make it tough. And I feel like we were taking turns guarding her, and I feel like we did a good job of doing that.
James talked about just the need to finish teams off and kind of some of the struggle, or I guess he didn't use the word struggle, but yeah, just the team's need to finish teams off when you guys have big leads. How do you fix that moving forward, and what's the urgency in fixing that?
I think it's gonna come. We're figuring everything out at the same time right now. Trying to play together, rotations, our defense. Right now, I'm glad we getting wins. I think that'll come as the season progresses, and we'll figure out what it is that we need to do to take control and keep control. So it'll come.
And then what kind of confidence do each of you have in the entire team, 1 through 11, being able to contribute? Like tonight, you poured in 15, but we've seen Dana go off. We've seen, everyone in different circumstances pour into the team like that. So yeah, what kind of confidence do each of you have in 1 through 11?
Well, I think that's what's great about our team is like everyone on our team brings something special. So, um, when we get our name called, like I know us on the bench, when we get our name called, we're like ready to contribute to whatever the team needs that day. So we just try to stay ready and yeah, give what we need.
Like Beck said, I think we have bench players that could go to other teams and be starters. But that's what makes our team special is what we have, and everybody takes pride in their role, and they come in, and it could be anybody's day. And I think that's what makes us so good. And everybody is just so humble and just wanting to contribute however they can. And I just love that about this team.
Ka, I mean, you've had a couple practices with Julie now. What's it just been like having a floor general like her, and someone that can create in a multitude of ways?
It's funny because I played with Julie my first year overseas. We played in Belgium together, so I was very familiar with her game and was super excited for her to come play with us. But I'm just thinking about the entire bench. It's just no let off. We have a floor general and Salute, and then coming in we have Julie. So and she's also pass first, very unselfish and very good. So I'm just excited for her to be here and to take a lot of pressure off of Salute.
All right, for Ka. So tonight you had a very good balance in your shot profile as far as taking threes and then managing to get to the rim and generate rim pressure as well. Is that something that you consciously think about? Like, okay, maybe I'm not getting enough attempts at the rim, or I need to drive some more or get some more help to then kick it out, or do you just kind of go off a flow with that?
I'm really just in flow, but trying to read defenses. They're I want to get people in closeouts because that's a tough cover. So I'm trying to get these threes up. Threes is falling. I'm getting you in closeouts, and then I'm getting to the rim, and help is coming, and I'm trying to create for other people. So consciously, yeah. I'm most of the time I'm in flow, but I have to be very conscious of different defenses and how they're guarding me.
And then for Rebecca, so when you guys spend time on the floor, that's makes for two of the best like 2-player lineups you guys have offensively and defensively. So when you're on the second side of Ka, do you kind of because you have a good feel for when to cut and different variations of cuts. Do you kind of just like pay attention to how they're guarding her, or are you paying attention to your assignment specifically? And how do you just like go about managing?
Yeah, I know we played together too.
Yeah,
in
we
Turkey.
did play together in Turkey, but yeah, like I just try to read the defense, and I know Cog draws a lot of attention too. So like sometimes when she's driving, I try to cut or like space out. So I think it's just about reading the defense and like learning each. I mean, we do have played together, but it's been a little while. So, but yeah, just reading and taking what the defense gives us.
Kai, just wondering what your thoughts are on. I know you alluded to it earlier, just about the state of the chemistry of the team right now. Because earlier in the season, still trying to get the feel for things. Obviously, you coming back from overseas, how would you assess where the team is now in terms of synergy and chemistry at this point?
I think off the court is like it's nothing. That's the easy part. But on the court, I think well, since I've been back, I feel like we've progressed. We've gotten better as far as our chemistry on the court. We're reading each other really well, and I think when we have everybody at full strength, we're really good.
And then Rebecca, obviously coming off the bench as you did, scoring 15 points tonight, making tremendous contributions. Just wondering, feeling more secure in your role to be able to come off the bench and make contributions as you did.
Yeah, I think I'm getting more comfortable learning everyone, and everyone's getting comfortable learning me. And so yeah, I think that when I come in, my focus is really defense, and then whenever I get open shots or can attack the basket, that's just what I try to focus on. Whatever the team needs, I like try to assess it from the bench, and then when I come in, like fill in where I fit in, basically.
This is kind of open to either of you guys. What did you guys just think of Azrae Stevens' just overall performance offensively and defensively tonight? She really came up clutch for you guys with that 3-pointer in overtime and the shot block to send it into overtime. What did you guys just think of her performance overall?
Z was good. This goes back to us talking about our depth. Candace is out, but there's no lacking. We got Z next up, ready when our name is called, offensively, defensively, whatever it is that we need. So I think that speaks to the depth of our team, which is important for us to make another championship run. So I'm super happy for Z.
Last question, we'll go to Annie. I'm curious what the message was going into overtime, and did Candace say anything specific to you guys, or was it James leading the huddle before going into overtime?
That's a great question. I do not remember.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
All right, thanks, ladies.
Yep, thank you.
I really don't remember.